So here we are at this new episode of this podcast series where we talk with amazing entrepreneurs. And today with us, we have a special brand, special entrepreneurs from Dubai, a person that is really focused in terms of real estate and Airbnb. We have with us Rana.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you for inviting me. Pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Well, pleasure to have you here. Can you tell us a bit more about your business? Because of course I know, but everybody who's listening to this podcast would be a bit...
Yeah, I think, thank you for introducing me. For me, I'll keep it short. I'm a storyteller, so you probably will hear all the stories about my life. So we went recently in Miami, right? So I love traveling and I love real estate. I love Airbnb and I'm in multiple businesses. My life started in the UK. So I'm originally in the UK, set up my businesses in the UK. I was by trade an engineer, mechanical engineer. Went to university, did all the corporate stuff in Jaguar Land Rover. So I quickly moved on because I realized the world of entrepreneurship is where I want to be, where I see my energy, where I can conquer the world, you know. And I'm going to the 10x level. So I decided to start in Airbnb. Arbitrage, buying properties in the UK, and you know, growing the subleasing side of the Airbnb business since 2017, right? So I've been doing this in the UK since 2017. So I feel like I have come a long way from 2017 to 2024. Now we have an office in Dubai as well as UK. So a business in the UK for property development and Airbnb, and a similar thing we set up here during just before COVID times, Airbnb, and now I also own a real estate agency which we acquired a year ago.
Well, that sounds incredibly interesting. However, before going deep into your business, I would love to ask you a question, because there are a lot of people maybe out there that are thinking about resigning and jumping into this crazy world of entrepreneurship. So what made you do it?
For me, I'm a very driven person, and any individual who wants to become an entrepreneur, they have to be self-driven. They have to have self-belief. For me, I have such self-belief. Even coming in the car right now, I am telling myself that I am good at what I'm good at. I am gonna speak about my life, and I'm a superstar. And this some people may not agree, but this brings me self-belief, right? So first of all, whilst I was in a corporate job, I made sure my self-belief levels were good. And how do they come? They come from knowledge and having expertise in your desired field where you're working. So I was an engineer and I was performing at the highest level I could. So I got promoted really quickly because I became an expert in my industry. I was shifted to China to launch one of the biggest factories from Jaguar Land Rover in China. And what I realized was in that journey, which is very important to enjoy the journey, while it was I realized as being a consultant in engineering that I have more to give in terms of like my knowledge, in terms of changing the space around me, changing the society around me. I genuinely believe that I have more to give. I genuinely believe that I have such self-belief that I can deliver at a higher end or at a 10x scale. So that was my change, and that drove me to look at different industries. And for me, the most lucrative in terms of where I would have enjoyed was Airbnb, hospitality and real estate.
Well, it's really interesting. So you're saying that the main driver for you is the one of kind of paying back what you have.
Correct. Yeah.
So offering value.
Offering value, and also like I can do more. And I think most people are limited in a corporate job to a certain role. When you become an entrepreneur, you got to wear many hats to start with, and then you delegate your responsibilities as you grow. And I actually wanted that. I wanted that process. I wanted that conquer. I want to conquer the world essentially through business, and that is the reason I was able to turn over from corporate to entrepreneurship.
That's incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
I love it, especially because like on my side it would be a bit different, but I guess I'm more like time oriented. Like I do what I do in terms of more like of a freedom of time, but I guess like everyone has to ask themselves why they do certain things. You don't just go and do things. I mean, it might work, but you need really to have a driver for, otherwise it's a really big, stressful job.
It is very stressful. Look, I just had 3 meetings before this, rushing here, rushing there. Like, you know, you mentioned freedom of time. That was one of my factors as well, because when you're in a job, you only get 25, 26, 27 days of holiday. And we met in Miami, and, you know, we are going Miami again in a couple of months. And it allows us to freedom of travel, freedom of lifestyle, freedom of time. And that was one of my factors. But my deep purpose, the core purpose was, what do I get out of my life when I'm 60 years old or 70 years old from here to that?
I see. And moving through like a time frame of your life. So you said you were an engineer, and then you went to Airbnb or to real estate before?
Both are very linked. So yeah, I was doing at the same time renovations on properties, buying properties, flipping properties, and at the same time, because I bought my first property in 2012. Just through Google and just through something called Rightmove in the UK, and because I was so curious of learning, and again, goes back to knowledge. Knowledge is key, and knowledge is all over YouTube and all over Google right now in this world. So I bought my first property, and once you buy your property, you start looking at long-term rental, short-term rental, you start looking at avenues through curiosity. And I came across Airbnb when I was about to travel to Thailand, and I thought, why not put this on for a month? And that month turned into good income, and that turned into me light bulb moments that I can turn this into a business, and I scaled the business to 10x.
And why real estate? So the question here, it would be, you're talking with someone that maybe has some money to invest. So why would you say real estate was for you, and still is, the best way to invest your money?
Real estate is a long-term wealth generation, and for most people, it's the safest asset to invest in. So for me, with good returns, coming out of a corporate life, real estate investment, buying properties, and then leasing them or Airbnb renting them, the ROIs make sense to me. And then I could create generational, have properties. When I retire, I will have wealth.
Those are assets.
Assets. So I'm creating assets. I'm using the money. I'm using my money and my joint venture money of investors, private investor money, to grow a portfolio and creating assets for me and my generations to come. And I think there's nothing else in the world right now where you can have assets where they're so safe, and historically the prices have gone up, and assets always going to be an asset. Other than gold and silver, you are buying something which is going to be there for generations to come.
And if I'm not wrong, you started this in Birmingham, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Then why Dubai? Why Dubai has been the second step, and why not London? Why not New York, Singapore? Why Dubai?
Dubai is the greatest market for entrepreneurs. Mark my words. I have 10x my money since I've come here, right? And that is pretty evident on my life, as you know as well. We have managed to get to where we are, both of us, by coming to Dubai. Dubai is a hub of entrepreneurs. Dubai is the place where you're very close to finding people who are either at the same level, if not much better than you, right? You can walk out right now and see someone doing better than you, and then it really inspires an entrepreneur like myself and you and your listeners listening. And I think this is why Dubai is my go-to place till right now, and probably for the next 5 to 10, 15 years. If not, this is going to be an all-time home for me.
And I'm really interested about this, since your business it's developed here. Which are the strategies, the tricks, the method you're using to sell your units here? Because now we are maybe listening and someone might say, okay, these guys just buy. No, you started in buying, but now you're selling the units. You're doing real estate in terms of selling them. Which are the methods you use? Also in terms of sales, I'm interested in this.
Yeah, so just before we get to that, the reason I'm in the selling market, or I own a real estate agency in Dubai. So the reason I'm in that market is because I was an investor myself, right? Bought multiple properties. I own a portfolio across UK and Dubai of properties. And once I did that, I understood the market, understand the current trend, understand the historical trend, and I decided to help, how I can scale sales teams to help other investors around me. It's natural. Once you're buying properties as an investor, you have investors around you. So my network is very huge with investors and a network of friends who buy properties and extending network. So I decided to acquire. I'm also in acquisitions of businesses in the UK mainly. We acquired a real estate company here, and that was to help other investors in my network and extending network to buy properties and grow their wealth, just the way I did. And the second point is I really wanted to scale sales teams, and that led me to the strategies I'm using to help investors. Is my main strategy here is to make people understand, or investors understand, the capital appreciation, the long-term plan of Dubai, the Dubai 2040 plan, Dubai 2033 D33 plan of Dubai, how Dubai is going to expand from 24 to these years, and how that would help you as an individual to make money in your assets.
Sharing the value of something or the predictable value in terms of sales, looking for a great investment then.
Yeah.
Which are the key factors in buying a property? Let's say that you need to help me to make the decision. What do you think? What should I focus on? Is the area the most important part? What should I look for?
You know, the first thing you would want to understand, what do you want? What do you understand about real estate? That's the question I would ask you. What do you want? Do you want to make cash flow money every month? Do you want to say, hey, no, I want to park my money and I want to get it back in 10 years with 10x or 5x or whatever the number is, right? So that's the first question I would ask. That's for the sake, say you want cash flow. I would work on areas which are good for example, Airbnb rental or even long-term leases. If you want cash flow, I will make sure the area has a good community, so there's more people likely to stay in your investment, in your long-term rental. There is a metro line, there is transport, there's restaurants, there's shopping malls, there's good transport links. I would look for a community which has all of these amenities to be able to serve your investment, so you can attract a huge or a bigger end customer base. That's what I would first look at. Of course, the quality is very important as well. So your developer, I would also look at, as an investor, which developer you should be working with, because going with a good developer, it means like 10 years down the line, you're still going to get a good reputable capital appreciation or make sure you don't make a loss. There are many people in this country who bought with bad developers, 2010, 14, 15, they still have not made no money on it. So you've got to understand the community, the amenities around you, the transport links, and you've got to understand who the developer is. These are the two more main factors for me. Obviously, you can bring in price point and everything, but all dependent on you as an investor.
And which are the costs? Are there any hidden costs in owning a property here? Or?
For sure, this Dubai is no different to any other place in the world. Service charges, you know, you got to understand what the service charges are if you're buying an apartment. Also, when you're purchasing a property, you got to understand there are DLD fees. 4% DLD fees in Dubai. In the UK, there's stamp duty. So you got to understand these things. There are hidden costs. They're not hidden because when we speak to people, these are laid out correctly right in the front. So the costs are DLD fees, you know, brokerage fees, service charges that you're going to be paying. If you're putting on property management, there are property management charges for Airbnb. So as an investor, you got to make sure you include this in your net ROI so you get the true ROI back on your property. The biggest advantage why Dubai is number one right now, because you're not paying no capital gains tax, you're not paying no property tax as it stands.
So when you flip it, you're not gonna
you're not paying any capital gains tax, no property tax right now. So why doesn't it always make sense to you as an investor to invest where there is no tax from the government? So whereas in the UK, where the massive shift from UK investors now into Dubai, or European investors from Italy, from France, Germany, a lot of shift of money that's happening here due to one of these reasons and the future plans of Dubai.
Sounds promising, however, makes a lot of competition for you. There are a lot of real estate businesses in the area. So I'm asking you, how do you deal with the competition?
You know, I don't believe in competition, and I've said this for now, how many years have I been an entrepreneur, I've been in business? 7+ years, nearly 8. And if I had believed there is competition, I probably would not be here. Like, I know people who have complained about saturation and competition. That you can't look at that, because saturations are for losers. Saturations are for competition is for losers. I think winners don't complain about this. If you're a winner, you're gonna look at competition as saying, "Hey, what's Nico doing better? Okay, what can I make this into a better product or a better service to your customer and win the market share?" So what we look at, we have a company ethos, company values, company objective, company goals, and this is what we focus on. We focus on excellent customer service, and we focus on giving value to our end customers or our investors. So once we do these things, we believe in our product, the product we sell, the product we work with you, we work as partners. So if we believe in that, the competition takes care of itself, and we are, as long as we're doing the best job and providing the best quality, you're going to win in any market or any season that you're in.
Love the answer.
Yeah.
A lot of value shared in this podcast. You spoke about we. We means a team. And before, a couple of questions before, you said an entrepreneur, when starts, has to wear multiple hats. Therefore, my question for you is, when is the right moment to delegate? When you say, no more hats, I'm going to use just a few, or one time to give the others to
You know,
others.
there is no right moment. The quicker you can delegate, the quicker you're going to win, or the faster you're going to win. Everyone wants fast money, but you know, it's going to take time. There's nothing as quick money, nothing as quick success. For me, yes, I think in hindsight, if I got an admin or a PA or an assistant a lot earlier, I think I might have been 2x from here or further ahead in my journey. In hindsight, I would have got my assistant and my virtual assistant and my PAs and my helpers earlier than what I did. But I would say, as long as you, the way to delegate, as long as you can generate enough profit or enough revenue to pay for your operations manager, pay for your supervisor, pay for your assistant, do it. Because it's the quicker you can do it, you can focus on strategy. If you can be strategic as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you're more likely to scale faster, because the two things you got to focus on: sales and marketing strategically. Everything else must be taken care by your delegated people who are operational, who are assistants, and you know, HR, your admin, your accounting, your financial. They must be taken care of, and you should not be spending time on that as quick as you can.
So which are the first tasks that you would delegate?
I would first delegate the personal assistant or the assistant task, the admin work. You know, that is the most important task that you want to delegate, because that takes up so much time. No one wants to do admin. No one wants to type out Excel sheets or documents or email. If you can delegate that, you can concentrate on your networking. You can concentrate on strategic growth, B2B. You can concentrate on growing your financial plans. So first would be admin or a personal assistant.
Today, thanks to the fact that you have other people working for you, how do you structure your day?
I structure my day by using a simple calendar. You know, I box my on my Google Calendar. I box my time. I box out a podcast. I box out lunch. I box out gym. I structure my day like that, so no one. I even put my phone and do not disturb D&D on some of the times that I boxed out my day. So it's a bit difficult being in real estate, being on the call every time. But that's how I structure my day. I have a quick catch up with my admin team, with my virtual assistants on WhatsApp in the morning at 9 o'clock to say, hey, you know, what's the plan for today? And I have a report end of the day of what's been done in terms of email, in terms of, you know, all the admin work that goes on behind the scenes. So I am very well structured, but as an entrepreneur, you're always going to get curveballs. And that is where you become successful or you lose. So when you get the curveball, when you get that emergency call, when you get that drama, how do you deal with that? And how do you delegate if you can delegate it?
So my question is, how do you deal with drama then?
The way I deal with it, first of all, the drama that seems the biggest drama in the world is probably not. That's the first thing, right? Someone always got a fire in their building, and your house is not burning down. You know, that's how I look at things. My house is not burning down. My business is not burning down right now, but someone has. Someone's losing $1 billion. Someone's losing $1 million. Someone's going bankrupt today. Someone's standing in the court. First of all, it's all mindsets, right? I keep that in my head that, look, it could have been worse. Yes, easier said than done, but I've been practicing for 7 years. So if you're a new entrepreneur, or even if you're doing this for many years, you got to practice that. Practice that game, it becomes easier. You're more calmer, you're able to make more educated decision and direct people in the right direction.
And I would add also, keep listening, keep watching, keep meeting other people like you, other entrepreneurs.
Correct, yeah.
Which led to my next question. How important is networking for an entrepreneur?
Networking is why I'm here sitting on a podcast with you. Networking is why I'm making the money I'm making. Networking is why I have what I have in my life. People are key, whether it's in your business, whether it's in networking, whether it's in the airport networking, right? I give you an example. I met one of the biggest concrete developers in New York on the way from here, the flight from here to US last week that we were on, right? And by chance, just me saying hi to them, just me saying, hey, Mr. John, are you from Ireland? You know, if you say these things, you can network, and you don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know who they're going to put you in touch with. You don't know if they're going to become your investor, partner, business partner, joint venture partner, and big things can happen. I've done this consistently for the last 7 years, and hence I'm excelling compared to a lot of my peers that I was with at that time.
Well, it's really important. I completely agree with you. You need to be able to approach people, to start to make new friends, let's say, every time there's the possibility. However, and I know you are a master of this, so I want to go better into that topic. Sometimes when you need to network, you need to actually pay for an occasion, or you need to be able to enter in certain spaces. For example, you were telling me how you fly only business, not just because you like the flat bed, like let's forget about that, but that's because the people you meet on board.
100%.
You access to a network of people there, so you're not paying the ticket, you're paying the network.
Correct.
But of course, then you cannot lay down in bed and sleep.
Of course, yeah. So great point. So now, if you do 7 years of networking on as much as I've done, you start to become a little selective. You start to have a little bit more direction. So what I would say, if you're new, you got to attend as many networking events, but very quickly you got to realize where to start becoming selective and where you need to pay to get into. There is nothing is free in life, right? You got to remember that. So if someone's got value, like I don't attend every single networking event, right? For a reason, because I don't want to waste my time. I need to be selective. So business class is a very good example. You're generally going to get people who have a decent amount of money, who can afford to be in these places. To get decent amount of money, you got to have decent amount of success behind you, whether it's corporate, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether, whatever it is, you got to have some kind of money behind you to get into these places. So I spend money to get into places where I can have access to better people than me, or people who are doing better things or more successful or older, older experienced people who bring me more experience when I stand out with them or hang with them or talk to them. So business class is one example. Masterminds is one example that we attend. I pay to get into masterminds. I pay to educate myself continuously, but be with people who are number one in the world. We were with someone who's number one in the world, right? That it's not going to come for free, right?
So every mastermind, you need to pay the knowledge of other people. Today you're thinking, how do I do network? Well, ask yourself where the other people like you or the people that you get inspiration from are. And then you need to be willing to pay to access to that club. That's correct what you said. We met at the mastermind. What's a mastermind for whoever listeners that they don't know? It's a private club of entrepreneurs, for example, that they all get together, they share ideas, they share knowledge, they share topics, they check together which are the trends of the market, but these never come for free. They come, one, through your experience. So if you're a beginner, zero level, it's really hard to be admitted. Most of the time, you need to go through a qualification call to see if you can provide value to the others, for example. And you need to really go through the possibility of reaching the type of people you want to get to. Talking about mastermind, talking about how the fact I invested, you invested, that led to our meeting plus other things. I was reading something interesting on on a couple of your Instagram stories, which, by the way, follow his profile. He will tell us which is the hashtag because it's really interesting, offers a lot of great tips. But I was reading that you might go for a mastermind. You might create your first mastermind.
Well, not mine. It's launched actually in June. So for the first time ever in 7 years, for so many people asking, I'm launching a mastermind where a group of people of many skills, especially Airbnb, real estate, and entrepreneurs who want to become better entrepreneurs or want to get into the entrepreneurship. So I'm launching one for a very limited amount of people. And that's just because I want to help and grow. And I enjoy meeting new people as well. As I said, again, it's networking for me and for them. So I'm creating a group of people where they can get tons of value, learn everything that I know, and pick my brains to become better individual and maybe become part of my team one day. I'm building sales teams. That is my for a living now. I'm building sales teams across UK and Dubai. So yes, the mastermind, it's all on my Instagram, and we'll put details down. So if someone wants to join.
What's your Instagram?
It's Adam R777.
It was gonna be also in the video.
One thing I want to add about networking on the topic, guys. If as you know yourself from an experienced entrepreneur, if you want to network and you're a beginner or even if you're on a mid-level, give value. Like go with something, and it doesn't have to be that I have a multi-million-dollar business. It is that what is my story? Everyone has a story. Unless you're 2 years old, you probably won't have a story. But everyone has, even if you're a teenager, if you're 18 years old, you have a story. Where you come from, what have you done, how have you got to the school, how have you got to the university, how have you got this job. Your experiences is your story. Make that story come to real life and, talk to people, tell people what you've done, what's your aspiration. You never know. Someone might take a liking to your energy, your aspirations, your goals, and you might find a JV partner. You might find a private investor. How do you think I've grown? I started at zero. I started as 0 followers. I started with £1,000, £1,500 with my business, right? I got there to now, 135 properties on Airbnb, a sales team of more than 15 people. We've done sales over 100 million in dollars in real estate because I started as zero and I told everyone my goals, my story, and the energy. Energy is number one in any success or any entrepreneurship. Bring energy to the table, bring energy into your networking group, no matter what level it is, and people likability is winning in entrepreneurship.
I would add, always show up.
That is a good one. Always show up. Good reminder. Yeah. Always show up. Like gym, right? Even if you're lifting,
even if you don't see the results immediately, keep going because they will come.
Always
takes
show up.
Time. Results takes time.
100%.
So going back to this mastermind, how do people apply? They need to text you?
Yeah, so DM me on Instagram. I don't open, so it's only recently launched, so I'm not sure if the space is available, but when people get onto it, DM me and I will be able to get you on the mastermind and add you to the waiting list.
So if you are interested in the Airbnb space, this is the fastest way to access to a network of people who already did it, that have the knowledge, have the experience, and really give you the possibility to move from maybe not zero, but to 1 to 100 in the fastest way possible.
And networking is a great subject. It's like what you may know some people that I've never would have had contact with. And it's very important when you join masterminds, not even the teacher, not even the coach, it's the people in the mastermind have a huge network. And that is the beauty of being in masterminds, that you can become friends with, like how I became friends with you through a mastermind, and we will go on to become friends for a long time, maybe do business, maybe travel together. We've been on 2 trips already to US, It's incredible. Like we was telling my friend about it, I want to be doing more of masterminds to grow myself, right? Get into bigger masterminds than I am right now. And so everyone starts somewhere. Remember, it's the people who are going to make you successful, plus your drive, plus your persistence, plus your confidence.
You just mentioned your job today is the one of training sales team. I want to, since this podcast is also mostly about sales, what's your job there? How do you do it? Let's start from the beginning. What's a good salesman? What do you think? Which are the characteristics, the skills that a good salesman has to have?
A good salesman must understand his product and must love his product. If you don't love your product, you don't believe in your product, there is literally, you're not a salesman, you're just pushing deals, you're pushing, products for no reason, just for money. That's one thing. Second thing is a good salesman is always an expert in his product, right? He understands the customer more than anyone else. Before selling anything, you got to understand the customer. And then there are many factors to make you a better salesman, or a good salesman: rapport building, relationship building. No one buys from anyone if they're not friends with them. And that's what I say to you. And I say friends as in not like friends you party with, friends as in like, no, you got to have the feeling of a friend. Have you ever bought from anyone you didn't feel like you were their friends? No, right? It's no one ever buys of a random person, especially real estate, especially like, big sales, big ticket sales. You gotta have a good salesman. The reason I've been successful, I have made everyone feel like I am genuinely caring for them, which I do. You gotta care for the customer as you would care for your friend. It's all about trust. It's all about trust. If you can't build that trust, you ain't a good salesman.
Based on your sales team, the results are just what it matters, or you also check on them based on something else? I don't know, for a couple of months they haven't really got the results you were aiming for. Is that completely a failure, or there are other indicators that you look for?
So obviously we have KPIs. Of course, the business has to have sales, has to make money. But again, the way I'm building my sales teams is I'm building young, essentially entrepreneurs who can make unlimited amount of money by helping their customers, helping their friends and families, a private network they have, into generating more cash flow, generating real estate wealth, like we talked about assets. What I look for in them is I'm making them lifetime successful entrepreneurs within my entrepreneurship. And that is why I'm looking. And that is, just to repeat that again, I'm making entrepreneurs and leaders within my leadership. And that is my goal. So to do that, it's a long game. It is not a 6 month goal. It is not a 3 month goal. You're not making money. Hey, I'll do one deal. I'll see you later. I'm going back to Spain or England. Now, that is not how it works, right? We're here for a long goal that you're going to be a master in your field. And how you become a master? By doing all the things that I've mentioned. So we check on how are you optimizing as a human. Like I have this thing in my company that optimize as a human. You're going to serve people better than any other salesperson in the world. Optimize yourself as a human, your mindset, your body, optimize your sales skills, optimize how you take care of people, how kind you are. You know, in sales, you got to be kind, but you don't have to be nice. You got to be kind. So there are many factors within my sales team, and we call it a 360 agent. You know, we call it 360 leadership. Salespeople, it's got a stigma around it, but if they become leaders in their own life, they will become very successful.
Would you say that the sales team is the most important part of your organization?
Yeah, I would rank it the same as marketing. So marketing and sales are the number one in any organization, not just mine. And if entrepreneurs don't, when you're starting your business, you're going to understand marketing and sales. Yes, it can be a little harder to do the marketing right at the start because you need money, you need funds, but you can start doing sales through your network and private connections, and organically through social media, through YouTube, through LinkedIn. So for me, marketing and sales are number one. I'm not an expert in marketing, but I have a team who's expert in marketing. I'm an expert in sales, and I also have a team which I'm building. So both marketing and sales are the most important thing in any organization.
It's crazy how I've seen this trend that in the past 5 years, everybody was talking about marketing, digital marketing, etc. But not so many people talking about sales. I don't know. Is it because you think people are scared about selling? You know, a lot of times it's asking the sales, closing is kind of an art, or it's something not for everybody. A lot of people are kind of scared of asking the money. Do you think is this?
And I think people are scared because a lot of people don't want to win. They're scared to win. They don't have self-belief. Going back to the start of what I said, self-belief, because ultimately Apple has sales, you know, IBM has sales, you know, you gotta have sales, otherwise you don't have a business, right? Sales is the most important thing alongside marketing to get business. So maybe if you can't, as I said, you can't do marketing, do sales organically. And to start, if you're an individual, start with social media and speak to your friends and family. Tell everyone what you do. That is sales. Sales has got a stigma around it, and sales is not going to someone, hey, buy my watch. That's not how it works, right? So no one's going to buy a watch if it's not in their interest. People only buy what's in their interest. What's in it for me, right? Most salespeople look at sales as in like, what's in it for them? It's not what's in it for Nico. What's in it for you? The reason you would buy this watch or buy this table. So people need to change their mindset if they want to be successful. Top tier successful people, they have either great organization of sales or they're the best salespeople in the world. Because if you don't have sales, you don't have revenue. And if you don't have revenue, you don't have a business. Yeah,
you can have the most fantastic marketing team ever, but if you don't have a sales team, there's going to be a lot of cool leads and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, nothing more. At the end, if you don't have any revenues. Marketing is a cost, sales is a revenue.
100%. I have become a very successful individual through developing my sales techniques over the last 7 years within the business. Being an entrepreneur is a salesperson. You're a salesperson if you're an entrepreneur. Yes, you wear many hats. Ultimately, you got to sell. You got to sell either as an organization or you got to sell as an individual, depending on what industry you're in. And also, I think a lot of people not invest enough in sales. They don't have a method. What you said before about kind of understanding the need, why I want to buy this table. That's not a lot of people know about that. It's crazy, but they just think, okay, this is a nice table, has 4 legs and it's brown. This is how they sell the thing. Exactly, yeah. Because people, I don't know, they forgot that they need to learn how to sell. Exactly. And it's, you know, it doesn't come naturally to a lot of people, but you can train yourself. You know, you can become better. And it is a very normal thing to learn because you've got to understand the customer. You got to understand why you want this table, what are your needs, and if this is the right product for you. May not be the right product for you, mister, but you know, maybe I have a product here to suit your needs. But you need to understand the needs before. Correct. And I would go back to the real estate entrepreneurship path. Would you still do it today if you were starting from zero? Or you think it was successful because you started 7 years ago? No, I would still do it today. There is never a better time to start a business or be successful than 2024 right now. You have everything that your grandfathers and your mothers and fathers didn't have. We have on the fingertips, you can go learn about real estate. You can learn about Airbnb online right now. You know, go listen to podcasts like this. I have done many podcasts like this with tons of value. And people have started businesses because of that. People have been inspired because of that. That was not available when we were. I didn't have much access to it 2010. You know, when I was coming out of university, YouTube was there, but not so big. You know, and now you people, everyone. I didn't know about Dubai. You know, like now an 18-year-old works in my company and has helped 2 of his friends buy 2 properties in Dubai. He's 18 years old in his first month, and he saw me on Instagram and he's learned about properties and real estate through social media. So I would get in it without even thinking, and I would say, look, it's never been a better time to do it. Never. But educate yourself. And never been a better time to educate yourself, right? And now you got AI in play, artificial intelligence, it's going to change the world. 2030, it's going to be a different world. And if you don't jump on the train, the train's leaving.
Are you scared about AI, or are you excited about it?
I am very excited. I couldn't wait to talk about it. AI technology you're not gonna stop change. It's the faster you get alongside on the train of the change, and it's for good. Of course there are some cons, right? But the pros outweigh the needs. There are needs for society which you will conquer by having AI. As long as we have rules and regulations in place and policies, AI is going to be the game changer, right? We're looking at implementing AI in sales, and already there is AI in marketing, and there is no. If you don't catch on now and upskill your game, or even learn AI, you're gonna be left behind.
Everything sounds like amazing, but we entrepreneurs, we do a lot of mistakes along the way. I'm interested if you did some big mistakes that you remember, some mistakes that you want to share, some mistakes that might be a good teaching for the one that are listening today.
Number one that comes to my mind, links to networking again. Choose your joint venture partnerships wisely. So I would recommend you get into partnership to grow quickly. So someone who's maybe bringing in money and you're bringing in expertise, knowledge, and you combine together, become a business partners. But when you choose them wisely, because and it's part of journey. I've been burnt, lost money, had to pay out to people, not the right partners, not what I thought they were, have contracts in place, have shareholder agreements in place. That is my biggest tip in you getting in. Making sure if you're raising finance. So one of my skills is raising finance. If you're raising finance, make sure you are doing all the due diligence and making sure you're providing the right service for the finance you're raising. And if anything you're selling, making sure that you have done your due diligence as best as possible to sell the right product with all trust and confidence to your investors. That's what I would say as an entrepreneur, lesson learned so for me.
Today, since you're in two businesses, which one would you suggest to a person that is starting? Would you open a real estate agency, or would you go for Airbnb?
I would go for Airbnb, subleasing, Airbnb arbitrage, rent to rent, what it's called in the UK. Easier to get in, low barrier of entry to get in. Real estate is a little difficult, takes a bit more expertise unless you have an agent experience. Airbnb is the best way right now in the world, with the market growing, the tourism industry growing, to make money with the lowest barrier to entry, and you can learn that very quickly. If I can do it, anyone else can do it. And then I have multiple businesses. Once you open one business, you can go into multiple businesses. We buy businesses now. The core skill of management, the core skill of leadership, sales, marketing is exactly the same. It's the technical skills, and you hire technical people for that.
So when is the right moment to start a second business?
It depends on individuals. For me, you can branch out. For me, from an Airbnb business, short-term rental business, I started a cleaning company. Because what do you need? Cleaners
really
to clean.
Involved.
Yeah, and we started a maintenance company. Then we're looking to start an agency of assistants who would deal with communication, customer handling, customer service agency. We're looking to do that right now. So, look, I would do the first business first, not even think about the second one, and that experience and that journey and the networking, all of this compounds together to lead into potential new businesses. You may want to buy businesses. A lot of people don't even know that you can buy running businesses. There are more business owners exiting right now in the world than there were ever before, and the biggest wealth transfer is happening. So that is what we do, mergers and acquisitions. So I'm doing multiple things, and my goal is to be 100 million worth in the next 5 years, and that is where I'm going to get to. So hopefully this inspires a lot of people that from one business with 1,000, 2,000 pounds, $2,000, whatever that is, you can have a great life, freedom of lifestyle, freedom of time, and meet great people in the process and enjoy.
It's incredibly interesting how you're sharing all these through a podcast, through all the Instagram stories and videos that I know you do, through the mastermind. Mm-hmm. So guys, if you really want to access the information, follow the guy, because he has the knowledge.
Yeah, so. And anyone can DM you or message or put in comments on the YouTube on the bottom, and happy to answer the questions, happy to help. It's fun. The journey is fun.
So before finishing the podcast, I would love to ask you the final question, the final point, the final suggestion. If I was in front of you as a person who's going to start his own business, what is the only one and first suggestion you would give?
I would give that educate yourself. Number one is education, because education brings confidence and gives you belief, like I said. Number one, educating means you're listening to audible books when you're driving. Education means you're going on YouTube and writing Airbnb arbitrage. So much content. That's the first advice to give. Second advice to give, don't think life's going to be easy. If you think life's unfair, if you think life is being unfair to you, you're going to lose. Life is always going to be unfair to you. You're going to find the right solution. So number one is that educate yourself and be a solution-driven person. Solution-driven people are the one that's making money. If you find a solution for a problem, you'll make a lot of money.
Amazing. Fantastic podcast. So much value shared. Thank you, Adam, again for being here.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you for all of you to listen to this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.